Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 530 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. We're going to go right ahead into what I said I would. I watched Justice League Dark Apokolips War, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this one. This was a good movie. I was quite shocked how good it was. I'm not like totally mind blown, but I am very shocked and actually really enjoyed it. It's suspenseful, it's thrilling, and it's very gory. Like it's very gory. If you ever wondered, you see Injustice and all that, and certain maybe Suicide Squad movies, and maybe even some of the Justice League ones before, but very little. If you want to see um, pretty much heroes getting ripped apart, like ripped apart, eaten, destroyed, mutilated, and it's not Mortal Kombat Scorpion, Legend of Scorpion thing, but it is quite violent, quite gory. It's not for kids, definitely not for kids. Don't show your kids, but it's really, really well done. I like how it went about, and I'm probably gonna avoid spoilers because I think you should really watch this. It's a great ending to the animated universe. It's a great ending, a culmination of all the different characters that you've seen throughout this current DC animated universe, and it's pretty much is its own universe here, right? And I like where they headed, and I was at first I was a little bit confused because I before seeing this I knew it was heading towards this direction where they're gonna go and fight Apokolips, right? So going to Apokolips to fight Darkseid rather. And because that was the ending of that whole Superman, Reign of Superman movie. But I didn't expect them to really get heavy-handed with the Justice League Dark aspect of it, right? Like John Constantine, really? I mean, so but I liked it. I liked how they utilized him, and I liked how they added him. It feels different than what I've committed to before, where it's basically your Titans, your Superman, your Trinity rather, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, the regular Justice League. I like how they added in these characters such as Raven, Robin, and also Damian Robin rather, and then Constantine, and I like how they added those in, right? And I really enjoyed the fact that it just seems so dour. Like right from the get go, after you got your like heroic speech and stuff, it's just dour. Like it's just like whoa, whoa, it really went down, right? I mean, you've seen in the trailer, Darkseid comes to Earth and wreaks havoc, and it's just like totally there is unstoppable, right? And you kind of slowly get to what happened during that first fight, right? That first mission where they were supposed to go to Apokolips, right? So I thought this was kind of interesting how it kind of just really made you feel like there's nothing they can do. Like there's no way in no on earth any hero could possibly stop this. And I love how they got to the point where they just realized, and I kind of saw it coming, what they could use to ultimately, possibly defeat Darkseid. But even then, it was still dour, and it's a very sad, it's sad ending, at least to me, and but with a little bit of hope at the end, and I think that it's a perfect ending for this movie. So I'm definitely one of the best DC animated universe movies out there, and I'm glad it's the last one because it really pulls it off together very well. So highly recommend this. Now, the thing about this movie, what it proves to me is that they really knew where to go with this. They were very gutsy. They were very ballsy. And it really no holds barred in terms of the violence, in terms of what they're done with it, in terms of which characters die. They did not give a fuck, and I think that's I gotta give them a lot of props for doing that. I gotta give this team, this the DC Anime Universe team, for going the distance, for being very gutsy, being very ballsy, and going to take that. Warner Brothers is it's too afraid to do that, right? They're not gutsy enough to do that. They could have been. They could have had the balls to let Zack Snyder make the Justice League he wanted, and it could have. I don't know if it would have been this violent, but it could have got to those dark, really dark things that people don't want to see. Like heroes dying, dark, morbid, dour. But that's the point, because when you feel this dour, when you feel that dark, and there's that moments where there's little victory, there's moments of victory. It makes it much, much more different. It makes it feel so much more compelling, much more rewarding, right? It's more rewarding when those little victorious moments happen in a dour movie. Because you feel it. You feel you're going along with the ride. You're probably feeling dour, and it's like the world's ending, nothing's going right. But when those victorious moments happen, even a slight little, maybe a joke here and there happens, it makes you feel a little uplifted, because you know that they say that to kind of gloss over what's happening around there. It's just to make them feel better. And I love those little moments, because it's not excessive enough to like, this is going to end good. It's not that way at all. In fact, it's a little bit parts, and then they throw in this something really dour on you, and you're like, oh, like it's like that. And that's the kind of storytelling that I really like, because it really brings out that hope, the little pieces of hope. It makes it much more effective, much more rewarding, when it's not just all hope, all nice, and all green lands and playful, right? It's not all light all the time, right? And I think that's why it's called Justice League Dark, even though they use, yes, some of the Justice League Dark characters in there, but I think it's a much more powerful story in that respect. Yes, there's a lot of John Constantine. He is kind of like reflecting his point of view throughout this whole thing, but it's very much also a Superman story as well. Yeah, he's learned something of this, and he is going through his motions as being responsible for this entire mess. So enjoyable. I love this movie. Definitely get it. I'm definitely gonna watch this again. In fact, now that it ended well, I think I'm probably gonna go back to the beginning and rewatch kind of the whole DC anime universe and see how it holds up when you watch them in order, watch them all together in this giant epic, right? So, but first gonna have to find out which is the first. I think the first one is Justice League War. The one with Jay Oliva's one, that's canon. That was, I think that's very much the very first one, and then comes Thrones of Atlantis, and then you go into the other ones as well. So, but yeah, definitely if you've caught up, and you may need to catch up with a few, especially the ones with the death of Superman and the reign of Superman, and then go into this, that's fine. But I think effectively, if you watch the whole series, it would be a bit more impactful, especially when you see some of your favorites, just kind of just get torn to shreds. So yeah, that was Justice League Dark Apokolips War. Very much, I very much recommend this movie, and any DC fans should really check this out. So today is happy birthday to Mr. Henry Cavill. He was born May 5th, which is today, 1983. And then that's when I realized that, oh my God, I'm older than him. But anyway, happy birthday, Henry Cavill. May you rise again as Superman. And this is Zack Snyder He put this on Vero and kind of wishing him a little happy birthday. And there was, a lot of posts. I mean, a lot of Warner Brother posts were wishing him happy birthday with the Superman, the BVS account, the Justice League account. They were also they also had that look up in the sky thing today with Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, one of his tweets had a shout out to Henry Cavill's as saying happy birthday to him as well. So that's kind of nice and all and well. But no, he hasn't said release Snyder Cut or anything like that. That's fine. I mean, he made his cake. He made his cake for today, and he's eating it. So, one of the greatest Supermans out there, Henry Cavill. Happy birthday indeed. So, now we're talking about Zack Snyder. Let's get into Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is my Zack Snyder's Justice League fan poster pick of the day, number 414. Carlos Adrian Gonzalez. Instagram is Those Ghosts Inside You. Creepy. But this poster is cool. I mean, I like just how it's put together and how it's laid out. It's simple. I mean, it's like your regular movie poster. But ain't nothing wrong with a regular movie poster that you'd like to put on the wall. There's nothing wrong with that. You might as well hit it up. I mean, they got some. You got Black Suit Superman, you've got Darkseid, you've got Steppenwolf, you've got the team here. They even threw in Mara in here, and of course Darkseid on the bottom. Nicely put together, yeah. So check out Carlos Adrian Gonzalez. I have this link in the description below. Now, because we're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's probably one little interesting thing that Ohio Davey, Amateur Watcher, one of the TPZs, put out today. He said this: okay, let's have some fun. So we know in the future it's Cyborg, Flash, and Batman in the Batcave trying time go back. Well, I think he meant to say trying that go back in time to the past. There's two others there with them. Let's see if y'all can guess who they are. And of course he knows. Of course, probably Zack probably told him. I don't know if he should be telling this, but Zack, he's probably wants us to kind of guess. It's a little bit of game here, right? It's a little bit of a game here. So he puts out these two little pictures here as just try to help us prod us along to the right direction. One, of course, is Nightmare Batman, and the other one is Deathstroke. So, well, that can be the two because he said other than Cyborg, Flash, and Batman, right? So, we probably guessed right that Deathstroke was there. So that's interesting. So Deathstroke was also there. He's still alive, and he's actually in the cave helping them out. But what does this refer to? Well, later on in the tweets and different, I just can't find it right now. But here is what is revealed. The two other people that were in that cave is none other than Deathstroke and the Joker. What? What? Are you shitting me? Oh, the Joker. The Joker was there. Well, does that make sense? Now, this is something Jared Little tweeted out. Me and Zack Snyder DC back in April 18th of 2017. And this was in, this kind of just created that whole, at that time, that whole speculation that Joker was going to be in Justice League, right? Of course, Justice League came and went, or Justice League rather. Actually, you know what? Justice League never came and went, just Justice League happened. And he wasn't in there. He wasn't even mentioned. And also, but we're still thinking, we're still guessing, and Zack Snyder did like that one pick that someone thought that Joker was in Justice League. Whether that means Justice League Part 1 or not, but it apparently is that indeed Joker and Deathstroke was going to be present in the Nightmare future, working with Batman, Cyborg, and Flash. Now, that is a quite an interesting dynamic, a very interesting dynamic. I'm very curious about that. Like I would have guessed like Lex possibly and Deathstroke, because that's kind of what like even in the Justice League animated, right? Lex Luthor decides to help him out. Joker is already gone. So having him have Joker, I mean, that'd be an interesting dynamic. That's like, Batman and Joker working together. Wow. I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see that. In fact, I guess that kind of confirms that, Jared Leto was going to be in Justice League. Now, it's still not unsure whether that will be Justice League Part 1 or Justice League Part 2. Seemingly they're talking about going back in time in the past. I would probably gather it's not the first Justice League movie. It's probably Justice League Part 2. Unless they have flash forward, visions of the future, seeing them together, and they threw it in there. But I would and maybe at this point Jared Leto, met up with I don't know. I think this was a party or something. I don't know where, when they got together, but maybe they probably discussed something like that, and that would have been a very interesting dynamic. Like, what is that like? Jared Leto Joker and Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman in the same room. I mean, it's probably going to be like, okay, years later, they just became friends, and it's like you don't see how they got to that point. Maybe, I don't know, but that is quite interesting, and it just goes to show you, just like this Justice League Dark Apokolips War, that where Suicide Squad and all these villains came in, like Bane and stuff, comes in to help. King Shark, comes to help in the animated movie. That makes sense because they're facing a global devastation here. They're existential, apocalypse, right? It's devastating to the point that, because they're all human, this is about saving Earth, and heroes and villains will work together just to save Earth. But I don't remember. I don't think I've ever seen. I could be wrong. I mean, it does sound familiar seeing Batman and Joker working together. And I would love to see that. I would love to see that dynamic, right? But that also goes to the point of something else. Like when he's saying that there's two others there with them. Is that just like, oh, there's two other people in that cave? Or is there something else? Like, did they shoot it? Did they film it? Did they actually shoot Joker with Ben Affleck's Batman and Deathstroke and Cyborg and Flash and those nightmare future scenes? Is there actually footage of this? Because if there's actually footage of this, holy crap, I can't wait to see it. That means this movie is going to be a lot bigger, and its possibility of, actually going through with more nightmare scenes. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. This is crazy. That blew me away. Mind blown. I would not have thought Joker and Batman be working together. But like I said, just like this Justice League Dark Apokolips War, facing this crisis, villains and heroes do work together. So that's amazing. Hopefully there's more teasing. I love it. Bring on some more of that tinfoil stuff, and hopefully we'll get to see more of that in the future. Now, because we're talking about Joker, David Ayer is coming back a little bit more. This is in response to a person named Cold Blooded Joe. He said, by the way, his Joker is one of the most Googled in relation to the Joker in 2019. I did the math for 9 months since the article was posted at the start of October. That's approximately 766, 800. I don't know the math about this. It's highly improbable. It's all just people that dislike his Joker. And that's true. I, like, just in my point of view, there's actually a lot of people that like this Joker. I mean, a lot of the hate for this Joker is really on the internet. But Halloween, I've seen Jared Leto's Joker still yet. Like they're still out there, even including the David Ayer's version of Harley Quinn. The design, that shirt design with the bat and hair and whatever. So it's still very much some things that people love to cosplay as. I think they really respect that in a way. And Hot Topics sells a lot of that ones, but and then David Ayer did a nice little emoji there. He's kind of embarrassed by that. I don't know why you shouldn't really be embarrassed, or embarrassed thanking that his Joker is out there. But I enjoyed this Jared Leto Joker. There's nothing wrong with him to me. I think it fit in the world that David Ayer was trying to do. But this kind of sparked something, I guess, and he decided to tweet out a few more things before I just went into that. Someone asked, Austin Vive says, did you have a choice to direct Suicide Squad 2? And David Ayer says, yes, I chose Birds of Prey. Which he never got to do. That went over to Margot Robbie Productions instead, and Kathy Ann did it, of course. I would have loved to see Birds of Prey, and I'm still wondering if Gotham City Sirens, on the table like he says. But yeah, I would have definitely loved to seen his version of Birds of Prey. And then he went on and just started, sharing some photos. This is a photo of Top Secret and Argus. Portfolio here with the breather, Batman's breather on it, and don't know why, but he decided to share that. He also shared this incredible picture of it's in the Suicide Squad book, what apparently is a little bit Apokolips, a little bit of that. Possibly they're opening up a boom tube or something. I don't have this book, but I'm kind of intrigued. I might actually pick it up just so I can go into a little further to see what he really had in mind. Now, I believe a lot of this Apokolips stuff what didn't make it into the final film. Maybe it did, but I know Steppenwolf probably didn't, because I know at SnyderCon, Zack Snyder did say that he pretty much let David Ayer and everybody do what they needed to do to make their story. But he did say, but Steppenwolf was my villain. I'm going to use that villain. So he's saving Steppenwolf for himself. So I doubt there's too much of that. But, Apocalypse and Parademons, that could, looking at the concept stuff, that could have still been worked in, I think, maybe. But regardless of that, it seems like there was a movie that's already, pretty much complete. Carrie Vanderberg says, I met someone at San Diego Comic-Con who used to work at Warner Brothers and saw the film before the reshoots. She said it was the better movie before reshoots, and execs wanted it to change to be more Deadpool-like. So I believe Ayer completed it and changed it as a result of the reshoots. And look who actually liked the post there. Mr. David Ayer himself liked that tweet. And for a lot of other people, like, the scoopers like Daniel RPK, also said they've watched the completed version, the Ayer cut, in a test screening, and it's pretty much complete. It's done, like more done than Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I would love to see it. I mean, I really do. And I've talked about release the Ayer cut many times. There were like 2 events that we tried trending and it didn't really do so much. And that's fine. I think more people are excited, and I get things like well, let's just stick with the Snyder Cut for now. Let's concentrate on that. Let's not just ask so much and things like that. I get that too. And you know, you may be right. Maybe after this whole Snyder Cut thing and Zack Snyder's Justice League gets announced, the studio maybe, well, not studio, but HBO Max or Warner Media would be like, well, what else you got there? What else can we populate our, you know, our program, where our content with, you know, well, what content we can populate our streaming service with, and they may be looking at the line and says, well, we got that one's pretty much done. That one was done before we went through test screenings, went through the test screenings, so let's just polish that up and release that one too. So I think with Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out, and you know, it seems like David Ayer is kind of getting a little bit more active about sharing information and liking posts, that it's possible, maybe he even thinks it's possible as well, that you know, there could be a future for his cut on HBO Max. And I hope that actually happens. So, but I guess for now, because we're kind of really close to the start of the HBO Max launching on May 27th. Let's just, I guess we can concentrate on Zack Snyder's Justice League and release the Snyder Cut for now. But I do hope David Ayer, you know, shares a little bit more info. We can start release the Ayer Cut. I mean, I've never really stopped. If I see anything like that, I kind of just go release the Ayer Cut from every time he posts something really interesting, intriguing, and hopefully he shares more of it. And I hope that Warner Media is actually looking at cuts like that, you know, different directors' cuts, and throwing them on HBO Max just to fill up that content. Because, you know, I mean, even today they announced 2 other movies that they're making at almost the 11th hour. So they're constantly trying to get more stuff on their programming. They got a new publicist over there as well. So they're constantly upgrading, constantly trying to put more content up. So you never know. You just never know when they decide to tap into some legendary DC films that are just in the vault and needs to be maybe worked on or polished and ready to put on streaming service. So I'm going to end it on this. We still got those May events, guys. This weekend is, of course, Mother's Day. Hope you all have plans for Mother's Day. I know it's COVID-19 out there, so there might be very little options. We're probably going to have some takeout. But Mother Box Day, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's just have some fun and get some, you know, these 2 hashtags out there on Sunday, May 10th. And this one is the biggest, the big one. This one is very important. Try to start, you know, scheduling tweets if you can for this day. HBO Max launches on May 27th. Let's be loud and clear to HBO Max that we want Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, hashtag release the Snyder Cut and Zack Snyder's Justice League with your message, pics, GIFs, starting at your own time, 2:14 p.m. in your own time, right? So, there's nothing really strict about the schedule here. Wednesday, May 27th, 2:14 p.m., your own local time. And yeah, if it's 27 over there and not 27 in the calendar, that's fine. Whenever your own calendar, your own watch, your own whatever, it says 5-27, 2:14 p.m. in your own calendar, clock, computer, that's when you start tweeting, right? That's when you start hashtagging release the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League, message, pics, GIFs, whatever you need to. Tag HBO Max, HBO Max PR, Warner Media. And then you can go ahead and continue tagging the Warner Brother Pictures, Warner Brothers AT&T. But most important, HBO Max PR, Warner Media. Tweet as much as you want and as time allows throughout the day. Just keep going with it. And like I said, we've got some time. If you want to, check out my tweet deck video, how to schedule tweets in advance. Do one a day, and then just put it like every 10 minutes or something, so that it's kind of like spread out, so that you don't have to be actively tweeting, and then just having your scheduled tweets go out, and maybe in between retweet somebody else, help somebody to tweet something else. So let's get the word out that day. It's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be really interesting. HBO Max launching on May 27th. Let's let them know what we want to see on that platform. Zack Snyder's Justice League. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.